On the 7th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 7 swans are swimming. 6 geese are laying, 5 gold rings, 4 golden birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. It is the 7th day of Christmas, and with it, New Year's Eve. So happy New Year's Eve, everybody. Whatever your plans or non-plans, whatever the last year has been like, and whatever you're kind of looking forward to or not so much for the next year, I just wish you all the best. Sending you lots of love. This class is going to be quite hip opening. It's the end of a year. We're kind of going into a new one. It's nice to kind of feel that grounded, that earthiness. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. Plus the swans, the watery creatures that they are. We're heading into the water, so expect lots of flow, lots of ebb and flow. We're going to start on our backs, but with the soles of our feet pressed together. So finding a Supta Baddha Konasana, pressing the soles of the feet together, knees pressing out. And you might want to join me with right hand on belly, left hand on heart. Snuggle the shoulder blades beneath you, down into the mat. And take 3 deep, long breaths. Maybe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Letting yourself sink into the mat, and with each exhale, letting go of something which might have a little more meaning on a day like today, where we're ending a year and there are possibly things you would like to let go of, ready to go into the new year. And then after those 3 big breaths, just letting the breath return to a more normal pattern, still probably a bit deeper than your usual, as you just check in with yourself. And then if their hands are connected to belly and heart, just gently release them, maybe placing them underneath each thigh and slowly drawing those thighs in together. We're going to move through everything slowly today, kind of as gracefully as possible, because that's what I think of when I think of swans. Bring the knees all the way into the chest. We're going to find like a swimming motion, like little frog's legs with our legs. 1 hand on each knee. Take some big circles. Knees come out and then in. Huge big circles. And almost like a rowing of a boat as well. And then take it back the other way. These big old circles with the knees. And then bringing them back to center, take them apart, slide the arms up the inside of the thighs, grab a hold of little toe side of the feet and press the soles of the feet up as you press the lower back down into the mat. Finding your happy baby pose here. We're finding a couple of big hip openers pretty early on today. So just feel what that is like in your body. It might not be the same as another day or another time where you've taken things early in the practice or these deep stretches. So just experience it for what today is bringing. And then gently bring the knees back into your chest. Hands go behind the legs with every kind of watery adventure as these swans are about to take starts. We need a boat. Maybe. I mean, the swans don't need a boat, but we're going with it. We're going to roll up, send the legs out. Arms maybe come out to the side, palms facing up, or they hold onto the thighs beneath you. Roll the shoulders back. Press the chest up towards the knees. Just staying here for 2 more breaths in our Navasana, our boat pose, as we start our swan swimming ship watery adventure. And then cross the feet, press the hands over the knees, and just come back to an all fours position. Pressing hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Now we're going to move through our cat-cow, but can you make this one as smooth as possible? We found a lot of these, probably nearly every day for our last 6 days before this, but can you really take your time? Inhaling to lower the belly, rise the head, and taking the whole exhale to move so slowly all the way up to your cat position. And then as soon as that inhale begins, moving really slowly back. So trying to keep it this one constant movement, like the waves of an ocean, constantly moving. Moving so slowly but constantly with your breath. Just a couple more here. And then next time you come back to a neutral position, take your hands in front of your shoulders, tuck your toes, find your downward facing dog. Spread those fingers wide, a bend in the knees if that feels good. Press the hips high as you gaze back toward the shins. And then inhale, lift your right leg high, bend the knee, open the hip, press the knee high, and straight away we're going to bring that right knee behind right wrist. We're finding a pigeon. I want you to stay upright here. Just see how this feels. The foot may be closer into the body than normal. Sink the hips, any props you need to kind of place underneath hips to make you feel more balanced, more stable. Find a deep breath here as you lift the chest high. And then can you take the fingertips, if they're not already, to the mat, maybe a bit wider than the mat. As we exhale, we're going to bend the elbows and fold down towards the mat, inhaling to rise. And just like that cat-cow, can you take the whole inhale and exhale to move through this? Maybe if not thinking of a swan, maybe thinking of Swan Lake. The beautiful control that those dancers have over their movements. Finding this slow and steady dipping up and down of the chest. And then the next time you come all the way up, keep it there. Place your hands down to the mat. Tuck your back toes. Can you press all the way back to downward facing dog? And just step it back, taking a couple of steps through the feet. Feeling if there's any difference in the sides from that. And then inhaling to rise your left leg, bend the knee, press it high. Exhale to take the knee behind left wrist, straight into that pigeon on the other side, staying upright, rolling those shoulders back, maybe checking that toe back behind you. Finding a deep breath here, any props that you had on the other side, supporting you here too, rolling the shoulders back, lifting that chest. And then taking the hands a little wider, maybe off the mat, slightly in front of you. Exhale to fold it down. Take the whole exhale to bow your chest. Inhale to rise it up. Trying to keep this movement constant again. As soon as you change to that exhale or inhale, you're already moving back in the other direction. Making these movements as big as you would like. And then the next time you come all the way up, placing your hands down, lifting that back knee and stepping all the way back. Downward facing dog. Maybe a couple of steps through the feet. And then stillness for a deep breath. Now as you inhale, you're going to lift your right leg and then step it through between the hands, as many steps as it needs. Lower the back knee. Now we're going to keep our hands around this front foot. You can always grab some blocks if you have them to hand. Roll the shoulders back, lift the chest, and as you exhale, start to straighten that front leg. Maybe keeping toes on the floor, maybe lifting the toes. Inhale to press forwards, bend that leg, roll the shoulders back, exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. One more time, exhaling to straighten. Inhale, bend. Now you're going to lift that back knee. You're going to walk down the long edge of the mat as you bend into the left leg. Right toes come up. You're in your Skandasana. This left foot, the heel might be lifted, it might be down to the ground, but you're bending into that left leg. Right leg is straight, toes facing up. Ground your left hand, pressing that arm into the left thigh, and inhale, rise this right arm like a swan, spreading the wings. Exhale, take it down. Feed that right arm underneath your left arm. Inhale, rise. As slow as you can with these movements. Exhale, take the hand underneath left arm. Inhale, rise. Exhale, send it down. One more time to rise. Keep it up there this time. For an extra breath. And then can you plant that right hand down? Can you spin to the back of your mat? So you're in a lunge, left foot forward at the back of the mat. Plant your right hand, lift your left arm, find a twist. Ripple that left hip back with you. Lovely. Now exhale, release that left hand. Walk all the way back to the top of your mat. So down that long edge of the mat, lunging to the front, right foot forward. Lovely. Step back into your plank. Lower your knees into your half plank. And then chest and chin are going to come to the ground. And then you're going to sweep it through, finding your cobra. So chest, chin first, and then the rest of the body goes down. Exhale to release all the way to the floor. Inhale, press up to your knees, tuck your toes, lift your hips high, downward facing dog. Big breath here. Then inhale, lift your left leg high. Exhale, step it through between the hands, ground that back knee. Hands around this front foot, roll the shoulders back. Exhale to straighten the leg. Maybe peeling those toes off the ground. Inhale, bend, roll shoulders back. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. And when I say straighten, it doesn't need to go completely straight. Exhale, straighten. Now inhale, bend. We're going to lift that back knee, travel down the long edge of the mat, this time bending the right leg. Left leg is long, toes pointing up in your Skandasana. So right foot at the back of the mat. Press this right hand to the floor, open up that thigh, and inhale, rise your left arm as slowly as you can, reaching it all the way up. Exhale, can you feed it under your right arm, taking it down. Inhale, rise. Taking the whole of each inhale and exhale to get to each place. Now this time as we rise it, we keep it up there, reaching that hand high, rolling that left shoulder back. That huge big swan wing, scaring everyone away. And then exhale to release it down. Now turn to face the back of the mat. You're in a lunge, right foot forward, left back. Place left hand to the mat. Inhale, right arm up. Twisting in that lunge, wrapping that right hip back behind with you. Take a deep breath. And then release the right hand to the inside of the right foot. Walk the hands all the way back to the top of the mat, lunging towards the front, left foot forward. And then step that right foot all the way up to the front and dangle here. Maybe holding opposite elbow as you forward fold here. Letting the elbows act as a weight to send you down towards the mat, pressing the weight into the front of the feet. And then release the hands if you are holding those elbows. Tuck chin into chest and roll all the way up. Lovely. Now inhale the arms up. Let's take a flap of those wings. Reach them up. Exhale, take them down. Another flap. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, flap. Keep a little softness in the knees. Inhale, up. Exhale, flap. Now this time we reach them all the way up. Ready to bow down. Press bum back. Fold it all the way down. Inhale, hands to shins. Find a lift. Exhale, release. And we're going to step the right foot back into a lunge. We're going to walk this left foot all the way over behind the right wrist and find that pigeon once more. Although this pigeon is not going to be a pigeon for long. So that left foot is in front. See what it feels like this second time we're doing it. It might be that the second time you want to up the intensity, you might move this foot a little closer to the front of the mat. But if you can, we're going to head down. Feel free to use any props because sending our arms out long in this pose becomes a sleeping swan. Converting from pigeon to sleeping swan. Sending the arms out in front of you. If this doesn't feel good, you could prop your forearms up on a block, on a bolster, on a cushion. But trying to let some part of you release down in front as we sleep. Lovely sleeping swan. Just let your hips really sink here. Even though your arms are in front of you, maybe release the shoulders from the ears. Relax the face and the jaw and the cheeks. And then start to look up towards your hands. Walk them back towards you. Tuck that back toe. Lift all the way back to your downward facing dog. And then we lift the right leg high. Exhale. Take right knee behind right wrist. We find it on the other side. So spread that leg long, maybe adjusting that foot forward or back, finding any props that you had on the other side, and then maybe turning this pigeon into a sleeping swan, extending the arms long, bowing the forehead down towards the mat, sinking the hips, releasing the shoulders, relaxing the face. And breathing. And then gently walk your hands up towards you. We're going to come to a seat this time instead. So swing that left leg in front. And we're going to find legs out in a V shape for a wide-legged fold. Wherever your legs are is totally fine. You could sit up on something, which can help to feel a little more comfortable here in your seat. And we're just going to walk the hands forward. They don't have to go far. They really don't. Any of the props that you had for your pigeon, you could place them underneath your arms. Just finding a little fold forward. Maybe keeping those feet flexed, but relaxing the face. Relaxing the chest. Just releasing here. And then tuck chin into chest, walk your hands up towards you. Head is last thing to roll up. We have one more shape on our backs, our swan-like shape, before we find our Shavasana. So just pressing the bum back. Lift the legs, find that boat. We're still on the water, good old swans. And then start to take the legs long, really slowly. Ease yourself down for 3, for 2, for 1. Oh, lovely. And then press soles of the feet to the mat. Now, you've got 2 options here. Well, you've got kind of a couple more in between, but 2 main options. You're going to keep your left sole of the foot to the floor. Right foot comes across that leg. And then you can bring the left thigh into the body. So that is your first option, your kind of figure 4 shape. Now, you could, so press that left foot back down again, sole of the foot to the floor. You could wrap your arms around this right foot. So we're trying to get to that swan shape, that pigeon shape, but also swan on our backs. So right elbow around right knee, left elbow around right foot. So you're kind of cradling that right leg with your arms. Can you see then you're finding that shape that we had on our front, on our back? And you could keep that left foot to the ground, or you could extend it long. It's a really intense stretch though, so if it feels better, crossing that right foot over the left thigh, hands behind the left thigh, pulling the leg in. Wherever you are, taking a couple of breaths. You might even start to close the eyes here. And then wherever you are, return that left sole of the foot to the floor. And then release the right sole of the foot to the floor. And just take the feet as wide as the mat. And take the knees out to each side. Just a little sway in between sides. And then come back to center. This time, right sole of the foot stays to the ground. Left foot crosses over. Maybe you're bringing that right thigh into the body. Maybe right sole of the foot is on the floor. Right elbow wraps around left sole of the foot. Left elbow wraps around the knee. Maybe you find that pigeon shape, keeping that right foot connected. Maybe you lay it long. Wherever you are, breathing, it's totally normal that it would feel really different on each side. This side for me feels a lot tighter. Just recognise that. It's quite fun when you start to put the puzzle pieces together and realise why one side might be a certain way. Equally, there may be no reason. It's just our bodies, not as kind of, what's the word? We think that everything's equal, we think that everything's symmetrical. It's definitely not, because we are all unique humans. Symmetry ain't that easy to find, and not that wanted. Nah, who wants symmetry? Wherever you are, take the right sole of the foot to the floor, and then release that left sole of the foot to the floor. Just take the feet as wide as the mat, knees out to the side, one and the other. And then if it felt good at the beginning, maybe coming back to that Supta Baddha Konasana, bringing the soles of the feet together, knees out, maybe connecting hands back to the body. If that feels good. And finding your breath here. Maybe closing down the eyes. And just knowing that on this day today, if you're watching this on the day it's released, on this last day of the year, that yes, there may be things that a year end makes you think that you want to let go of, new things you want to bring into the new year. But equally, you are wonderful right now, the way you are. Right? You don't need a million resolutions, I promise. I hope you have a lovely evening. And I'll see you again tomorrow, 8th day of Christmas. Gosh, we're getting through them. First day of January, here we come.